fashions. Such usage is at best naive. In the context of sexual politics, truly revolutionary change must have bearing on that political relationship between the sexes we have outlined under theory. Since the state of affairs defined there is patriarchy, had obtained for so long and with such universal success, there seemed little reason to imagine it might alter. Yet it did, or at least it began to. And for nearly a century it must have looked as though the organization of human society were about to undergo a revision possibly more drastic than any it had ever known within the historical period. During this time it must have often appeared as if the most fundamental government of civilization, patriarchy itself, was so disputed and besieged that it stood at the verge of collapse. Of course, nothing of the sort occurred. The first phase ended in reform and was succeeded by reaction. Nonetheless, very substantial change did emerge from its revolutionary ferment. Just because the period in question didn't in fact complete the drastic transformation it seemed to promise, it might be well to speculate for a moment upon what a fully realized sexual revolution might be like. A hypothetical definition may be of service in measuring the shortcomings of the first phase. It might also be of use in the future, since there is reason to suppose that the reaction which set in after the first decades of the 20th century is about to give way before another upsurge of revolutionary spirit. A sexual revolution would require, perhaps first of all, an end of traditional sexual inhibitions and taboos, particularly those that most threaten patriarchal, monogamous marriage. Homosexuality, illegitimacy, adolescent, pre- and extramarital sexuality. The negative aura with which sexual activity has generally been surrounded would necessarily be eliminated, together with the double standard and prostitution. The goal of revolution would be a permissive, single standard of sexual freedom, and one uncorrupted by the crass and exploitative economic bases of traditional sexual alliances. Primarily, however, a sexual revolution would bring the institution of patriarchy to an end, abolishing both the ideology of male supremacy and the traditional socialization by which it is upheld in matters of status, role, and temperament. This would produce an integration of the separate sexual subcultures, an assimilation by both sides of previously segregated human experience. A related event here would be the re-examination of the traits categorized as masculine and feminine, with a reassessment of their human desirability. The violence encouraged as virile, the excessive passivity defined as feminine, proving useless in either sex, the efficiency and intellectuality of the masculine temperament, the tenderness and consideration associated with the feminine, recommending themselves as appropriate to both sexes. It seems unlikely all this could take place without drastic effect upon the patriarchal proprietary family. The abolition of sex role and the complete economic independence of women would undermine both its authority and its financial structure. An important corollary would be the end of the present chattel status and denial of rights to minors. The collective professionalization and consequent improvement of the care of the young, also involved, would further undermine family structure while contributing to the freedom of women. Marriage might generally be replaced by voluntary association, if such is desired. Were a sexual revolution completed, the problem of overpopulation might, because vitally linked to the emancipation of women, cease to be the insoluble dilemma it now appears. Such conjecture leads us a long way from the period